What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. And I got a little bit of something different for you today. If you remember from my last video, this plastisol that I got, number 570, well, it was a little too hard of a plastic, and for what I need it for, it'd be great for tubes and, well, lures that don't really have an action, but things such as these matrix shad, they need that tail action to work right. So let's just dive on in here and let me tell you what I'm going to do. We're going to remelt some cheap plastic baits. I've got these big bite baits I picked up from Walmart who knows how long ago, for $2.48. And so what I've gone ahead and done already, I have cut them up and put them in my little baby food jars here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this color the same, and I'm going to make this, I think, a dark blue. This is going to be my back of the lure. This will be my belly side. And I'm actually going to add a little bit of this 570 into it because this is a bass lure and I'm making a saltwater lure. So I need it to hold up for those toothy critters you see out there in the salt water. So let me go ahead and get this guy cut up and pour a little bit of plastisol in here. We'll get it melted up and see how they come out. Alrighty. We've got our two colors mixed up right here. And before I start pouring, one thing I should have mentioned already is before I cut these up and put them in here, you can see all the worm oil that's in here. I clean them with dish soap. So I would get all that oil off before I cut them up and did them in there. And always dry them. Always dry them. You don't want water to come in here. Well, that's a nice, pretty pearl color. Really turned out well. I will say that it melted a lot easier than when I just did the 570 in the last video. If you remember, I burnt several of those. So this definitely heated better. I actually used my old heating schedule to do it. I hit it, well, almost nearly, just to test this out. I did it for a minute, and then after I started, I did it for 40 seconds. And then I backed down to 25. But that's all I needed to heat these up. And then I just put it in for a short 20 seconds right before I press record on here and started to film. I wanted them to be freshly hot, and these are just the perfect consistency. They really are. It's pouring nice and even too. Wow. I'm not totally lost on that 570 that I got. It seems to have a lot better properties on it. I mixed in with these cheap little Walmart baits that I got. So the true test, though, will be when this dries and cools. What's the consistency of the plastisol? Is it going to be hard enough for salt water? I don't think it's going to be too hard. So I didn't put a lot of it in there because I didn't want to go too overboard on it. So we'll just have to trial and error it and see how it works out. Well, let me go ahead and let these cool off, and then we'll be back and see what they look like. All right, y'all. You can see the lures there in the foreground, how they came out. And I'll hold them up closer to the camera in a minute. But I'm going to try to pour a couple more, hopefully. It'd be nice to get all three again, but I don't know. I'll be happy with two. I've definitely got enough of this darker blue that I'm using for the back. That's no worry there. But the lighter blue that I'm using for the belly, I don't have quite as much of it. So that's what I'm dependent on. But they look really good. I just took them out. They're not fully hardened yet. So I can't quite tell the durability or the stiffness of them. But I will say this, from what I've felt so far, they don't seem too much different than the Matrix shad you would go buy at the tackle shop. So that's promising. All right. And you know what? It was close. It was very close. But we had enough. Enough and a little bit. So we'll have 6 lures out of it, and that'll be enough to make a pack. And I'll pack these up. All right, there we go. That is great. So let's check these guys out right here. And yeah, it's a nice color combo there. I really like the way it came out. Yeah, these are going to be great, and they definitely feel tough. So they should be good. They should be good. All right, let's give these a second to harden up, and then we will be back with them. Okay, guys, this is it. So these are ready to come out, but man, look at this. I went ahead and I put one of these golden eye jig heads, 1/4 ounce jig heads in here, just to give it that look that this is how it's going in the water to be presented to a fish. And man, I couldn't be happier. They look great. It's hard to believe we went from this ugly, cheap bait right here to this nice speckled trout slaying lure right there. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right. Let's go ahead and pop these guys out. Oh, yeah. Another good one. Another good one. Yeah, I overpoured a little bit here. I'm gonna have to trim that off, but that's no big deal. Yeah. Looking good. Looking good. Came out great. I'm happy with the results on these. Yeah, so that turned out well. That was a success, guys. So melting down cheap plastics, these big bites from Walmart, and just adding a little bit of extra color to them, and really changes everything, doesn't it? So, all right. I appreciate you for watching the video, guys. Thank you. Hit the like, smash the like, thumbs up, subscribe. You got it. You name it. Until next time, tight lines.